up. Is that Ferrandis?
Yeah, Ferrandis.
Oh, that was big. He went flipping. Phil Micheletti, a good start, but Hunter Lawrence to the lead again.
Hunter Lawrence, as the Hondas, they got them starts dialed, but as Phil always does, he somehow always ends up there. But Chase Sexton slides up into 4th spot. It's like
Plessinger and Phil battling it out 3rd and 4th. Yeah, there is Sexton, and a good start for Tomac, who's next in line.
Yeah, Eli got lucky because he was right next to that Ferrandis accident. So because he was so far on the outside, he was able to get around it. But good start by Eli to be up here, and let's see what happens. Now, Chase Sexton's been a little lazy, I would somewhat say, and early in these first motos, takes him a few laps to get going, but he's able to already get around Phil. Let's see how froggy he's feeling if he wants to try to wrap this championship up in this moto.
Yeah, looks like he's made the pass, so up to 3rd. We have seen Hunter Lawrence and Plessinger battling for the lead early in these motos quite a bit lately. Tomac holding off his teammate Cooper, now battling with Nicoletti.
Yeah, let's see what Eli's probably got to funnel in behind, or not. Or I thought he was going to try to make that move, but he should be able to, because now the outside ends up on the inside. Nice move by Eli, and you heard him on the gate. He wants to get back to that first moto. So this is the first time Eli's gotten a chance to race against Chase Sexton for a while, but especially on this 4 since he's been on this KTM. So I'm sure it's going to be a learning experience for the number 3 4-time champ, Eli Tomac.
Yeah, because last week, bad starts in both motos for Tomac. He finished 4th in Moto 1, but he never saw the leaders. See what he can do. Saw the stat. This is the 300.
If you love sports, you're going to love spending your holidays in Brazil. Because here, you always win. Even if you don't win any points in a game, you will make new friends. Even when you don't surf on the perfect wave, you will have an incredible view. And even when you win more than just a game. You will have unique memories that will be unforgettable. Whether in nature or in a city, come and check it out. Visit Brazil. You have a lot to gain.
150th career start, all classes combined for Eli Tomac. And we talked to him yesterday about what he learned in his comeback last week at Budds Creek.
I had, one okay finish, which was that 4th, and then the second moto there, it was tough. Like, that's when reality sets in. You're coming off this injury, you're on a new motorcycle. It sounds like a handful of excuses, but it's reality, and you've got to really, figure out how to improve yourself. And I'm hoping that I will improve myself. So it's tough coming back, just this period. So it was also 2 years since my last motocross race. So there were so many things going on, but one thing for sure is it felt good to be back on the motocross track.
There's a lot of things going on right now. How about that pass from Aaron Plessinger?
That was a nice pass. See, you start going in the woods, and Aaron Plessinger comes out. And,
oh, yeah.
There's a battle inside of a battle, because they're still trying to pick the Motocross of Nations team, and Aaron Plessinger, and I'm sure Eli is probably one of the guys that they're thinking about as we watch Dylan get up. It's good to see him get off the track, but Aaron wants to get one of these things. I called him out on my show. I said, man, let's win one of these. So maybe today is the day that number 7 becomes number 1 in one of these motos. It looks good.
You make a great point. Well, first of all, listen to this crowd. They love Aaron Plessinger anywhere you go. And he's putting on a show right now.
Hunter's probably like, another KTM? I thought I had to deal with one of them, but yeah, with Aaron, you've got to believe he's had the pace, and last weekend he was right there with Hunter, and then his teammate came storming past. But Aaron's got some good memories here. First ever win, as you mentioned earlier. AP might be today.
Yeah, then you mentioned the woods. Yep, that's what he was raised doing, that type of cross-country racing, and then that's the area where he made the pass. Aaron's dad, an AMA Hall of Famer for his off-road racing in the woods exploits, multi-time AMA national champ and GNCC champ, and Aaron grew up racing that series, grew up on this track, and it's showing right now. Show you the pass.
Aaron here. Now he's working on this pass for a couple corners. This is right after, this is going down the start straight. He goes in and he goes in the inside here, which puts him on the outside on this next corner, which puts him back on the inside. And he just gets next to Hunter, and at this point, he's going to be on the inside. Then he just power moves through Hunter. Hunter knew he kind of had him beat, but Aaron Plessinger, this new wood section, nice little hop over to his jump. Now I feel like with him,
if you love sports, you're going to love spending your holidays in Brazil, because here you always win. Even if you don't win any points in a game, you will make new friends. Even when you don't surf on the perfect wave, you will have an incredible view. And even when you win more than just a game. You will have unique memories that will be unforgettable. Whether in nature or in a city, come and check it out. Visit Brazil. You have a lot to gain.
kind of like what he get that confidence going, Katie.
Yeah, there's definitely a little confidence in AP right now. And actually, I asked him, how does all the hubbub around KTM and Chase Sexton, your teammate, help you or enhance you? He said, it doesn't change a thing. I had a good week, and I'm out here to win. So that's one thing that you can keep your eyes set on him. The team also continued to say that AP is getting stronger and stronger, and his approach to racing, along with his physical and mental strength, it's all coming together for him. JT?
Well, the one thing that could help for AP is he could be situationally set up here, because if you start thinking about where Chase Sexton's head is, he's going to want to lock this championship up. He's going to be a little bit more risk averse than he would be here in this first moto. So if AP could put in some great laps and build up a lead, I don't really think Chase Sexton's going to put himself in a spot where he's going to risk going all out to chase AP down late. So if I'm AP, I want to get gone right now, build up a gap, so when Chase Sexton looks up, he's like, nah, it's not going to happen in this moto. So this could be a chance for AP to finally get that moto win.
Yeah, and normally I would say, look, Sexton just sits back here behind Hunter. He would still wrap up the title, but Sexton, there's a spoiler in the mix. James Stewart, Eli Tomac is hanging.
Yeah, what I was going to mention about Aaron, the same thing with Eli, is that what we saw with Jordan Smith in that 250 class, being up front is going to, every lap they're here, they're going to get more confidence, and especially with Eli, if he's able to stay here with Chase, it's going to allow him, like, okay, I'm still got this speed, as Chase is starting to hound on Hunter.
Oh, Chase made this happen. He's on the outside, though. Can he hold it? Going to be wheel to wheel over the finish line jump down this straight, and the 4 has taken the second place spot.
Yeah, I think Hunter kind of knew Chase was coming, because he could have popped out of that rut and slowed Chase down, but nonetheless, that was a strong move by Chase Sexton. But just like Aaron Plessinger, being out front is going to give him confidence. We saw Jordan Smith wrap this thing off. Eli Tomac, if he's able to stay with these guys, don't be surprised if he comes back up in this battle. But Hunter's got to slow things down. 2 laps in a row, he's got passed by the 7, and the number 4 still right here. It's early in this race, Jason.
And look at the points as they run. The lower left, that is the magic number. Sexton needs only a 25-point lead to wrap the title. It would now be 30 if it ended like this. But that goes all the way back to JT's question. Now, does Sexton set sail after his teammate, or is he happy to just be in championship clinching position? Can't back off too much, though, because Hunter staying close.
Yeah.
Tomac there at 4th.
Yeah, actually all 3 of those guys made a mistake in that corner. It looked like Hunter was lost the most time, but yeah, that was you saw Hunter get a little bit more aggressive, but yeah, he lost that time, Katie.
Okay, Stu, I have a question. If we know AP and Chase Sexton are great teammates, the camaraderie between them has been nothing but positive for what we've heard, right? So, just out of curiosity, would Sexton ever let AP win this thing to get his first, moto overall here, maybe today? Or do you think that Sexton was to go out in style and get this thing done?
Yeah, if I was AP, I'd tell Chase, look, man, you are a great teammate. I like you a lot, but I'm here to win this race. And the same thing with Chase Sexton. The good thing with him, Chase, he doesn't have to win this race to wrap this championship up. I think if Aaron wins it, Chase is going to try to go out and win it. Aaron would just be better. So I don't think Chase is going to let him win anything if he has a choice.
Man, I just watched Plessinger jump in and out of what they call the Hoosier hole there under that bridge. He went for a wild ride in practice, almost crashed. He is on the edge right now. It almost happened again.
Yeah, well, I told him he had to step up, try to get one of these wins. I mean, at all, I didn't say it at all costs, but.
Is that Tomac? Yeah, he's challenging Hunter now.
Yeah, and if Eli gets around him, as I was mentioning, just that confidence. And Eli knows how to win these races. And last time we were here, he won this race with a great battle with Chase Sexton. So good feeling for him. Hopefully he can continue that momentum up.
2 battles to watch. Plessinger versus Sexton. Lawrence versus Tomac. Send it back to Jason Thomas.
Well, the most critical aspect of AP's race here didn't come to fruition. He really needed to build out that gap, and Chase Sexton simply didn't let him go. You saw him make the pass, and he's already closed this gap down. A big mistake from Sexton. That's what he's got to guard against. When I was talking about him being risk-averse, he's not going to want to take big chances, and I thought AP's best option or best opportunity there was to build a gap. Now with Sexton sitting right behind him, and to Katie's question, listen, bonuses to win races like this are in the 6-figure range. So not only that, Chase Sexton has an opportunity to win the race and the championship in front of his home crowd. So there's a lot of emotion and a lot of probably push-pull for Chase Sexton in this moto.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I'm Aaron, I got to keep Chase behind me. I don't want him to get in front because just as quickly as he caught me, he'll pull away, and he's been known to do that. So if he can keep doing, like if he can hold Chase off, maybe Chase makes a couple of those mistakes as we've just witnessed, then maybe he'll go into championship mode.
Oh, not right now. Sexton to the inside.
I said your best chance was to hold him off.
They can listen, but it's hard to put that into motion. Plessinger riding hard, but Chase Sexton now has the lead.
Well, Chase Sexton, as I mentioned at the top of the show, he is a different rider. He's just making things happen, and so Aaron didn't do anything wrong. It was what Chase decided to make happen. And these guys better watch out because that number 4 run off from him really quick as he has in the past.
Yeah, and as JT made the point, I'm going to make a rough estimate of what the teams usually pay for wins. Probably around 100 grand for a win and a 50 grand for second. So it's too much money on the line, I think, for Sexton to say, you can have it today. Also, I got to wonder, is part of Sexton going to say, look, I feel safer if I'm just riding by myself and not dicing with people?
Yeah, we talked about this a couple weeks ago at Unadilla, and JT mentioned it, that Chase feels like he talked to somebody. He's a different rider out front.
Yeah.
So this is probably where he feels the most comfortable, and this is where I would say if you're Chase Sexton and the rest of the guys, they don't feel like they have much of a chance when he's out front. So this is probably the safest position for Chase to be in, most comfortable, and less likely these guys can feel like they're going to come up and pass him after this.
Hey, nice job by Hunter Lawrence to recover here. He actually was quicker than Plessinger the last time around, and stretching it a bit on Tomac, who a lap ago was all over him.
Aaron's doing a good job at keeping the pressure on Chase, and maybe if he can keep this up, at some point Chase is going to start thinking about the championship and just kind of get nerves of it. So if Aaron's on him, then Chase might start going backwards, because this is the first time he's ever been in this position. If he gets that gap, then he'll be able to ride this thing out. This track's tough. These bikes are bouncing around everywhere. Everybody's kind of making mistakes. But as you mentioned, that 96 is closing up. It's a tug of war.
It is. Like every time someone has a good couple of turns, then they make a mistake, the other guy cuts into that gap.
Yeah, it's a weird racetrack. When you make a mistake, it seems like you lose a lot of time on this racetrack, and as quickly as you lose it, you can gain it back. So interesting to watch how this thing plays out throughout the day as the track gets rougher.
It's the monster launch there, uphill triple for Sexton. The SMX track view, and you can see Tomac not too far on the 3 for the 96 of Lawrence.
Chase is crushing those guys before that big tabletop. It's going outside and cutting across the jump on the inside, and what he's doing is making that whole section like one continuous arc. So no stop and go, and you can see him pulling away there. Great line.
Can Plessinger keep his teammate in sight? I think they sold some noisemakers today. This crowd is going nuts.
That's because the hometown boys out front, and then you got the president, AP. They're all APing out there. Just everybody's happy.
Yeah, Sexton, he can't say he grew up riding this track because it's only been open for about 11 years So in his younger days, his track wasn't here, but he is from Illinois. We're in Indiana. So I'm sure a lot of people that watched him grow up at other tracks when he was young are here watching today. And I'm sure they're pumped to see Tomac up there as well.
Yeah, I was just about to mention, I'm interested to see how this number 3 plays this race because, you know, listening to him on the start, he said he wanted to have 2 solid motos. So having that kind of mindset makes you think that he probably wouldn't be putting all this effort into this first one, but now he's close to the front. Maybe he will, JT.
Yeah, and I was thinking about Eli Tomac during the first 250 moto where RJ Hampshire, that was a huge improvement. Improvement over Buzz Creek, getting 4th in that first moto, and you're kind of seeing the same thing from Tomac. It's always interesting to see how fast these guys recover after their first race back. Their body gets that muscle memory, start to remember, oh yeah, this is how we do this, and I think you're seeing both RJ and Eli getting back to form.
Yep, absolutely. And Eli, for especially with him, you know, he's out here to compete. You know, he doesn't want to be in the 5th to 10th place. You know, he knows how to ride a motorcycle. His biggest thing is obviously to get ready for the playoff, but when you win these championships, you know, 4th isn't good. So him being close to these guys, he wants to have every opportunity to be able to win. And I think he would feel better going like winning 1 moto and getting 20th than having 2 5th places in this moto and both motos.
Hey, Hunter is back here, James, catching Plessinger again.
Yeah, I wonder, is it just part of what we saw with Levi Kitchen? You know, the way this track is, maybe it's a little bit more difficult being closer to the guys because it seems like when they get close to each other, they make mistakes. So maybe it's the vision. But what we saw with Levi looked like he was starting to go backwards, and then mid-moto he started catching form. So maybe that's what Hunter is doing as well.
Halfway through this one, brought to you by Monster Energy. It's available now at Kroger. Yeah, a little role reversal. Hunter doing his best work from the front this year with the great starts, but now he's the one charging, trying to catch Plessinger, and that number 3 won't go away.
Yeah, you see how much Chase gets away from these guys in this part of the racetrack, that tabletop.
Send it down to Jason Thomas with the team manager for the KTM squad.
Well, Ian Harrison, this is a big moment on the precipice of winning the first 450 Pro Motocross Championship since Ryan Dungey in 2015. Can you talk a little bit about the work it's taking to get back here and what it means for the entire Red Bull KTM crew?
Yeah, you're right. It has been a little while. And we started off this year a little shaky, but we've definitely made progress through the year. And not only with Chase, but with Aaron too. And yeah, it's exciting. So a few more laps here and we'll see what will happen.
Well, nerves are high down here, but looking good so far.
And KTM has not won this championship since 2015, but Ryan Dungey. Saw Dunge this morning. He is on hand, hanging out with KTM folks.
Yeah.
Got a lot to watch right now.
Yeah, they got a lot going for him. Hunter's really quick on this part of the racetrack as he closes back in on Aaron. It seems like he loses it right by the finish line, so he's able to get around, close in on Aaron, get around, pull away from Eli. Now let's see what happens on the second half of this racetrack.
Dropping downhill. And still Tomac in the shot. Not quite in the battle, but close enough. Yeah, that exchange better for the 7. He pulled away a little bit.
Yeah, and maybe Aaron picked up on some of Chase's lines over here because this is where Chase is really good. As you can see, Chase is pulled out of his shot. So now, because Chase hasn't really pulled away from these guys like he has been able to in the second moto, I'm sure it's giving these guys confidence to be able to be like, okay, maybe he is thinking about the championship and might have an opportunity to close back in. Because normally we've seen Jason, like when Chase gets on the roll and he gets around these guys, next thing they know, they look up and they're seeing no one. That number 4 is gone. The fact is they can still see him. And that number 3 still lurking in the background.
Yeah, we were talking this week also with JT about last year, the way Jet Lawrence was winning races. He was just maintaining that 2 to 3 second gap. Sexton has been much more of the traditional, just keeps pulling away. But there it is between that 2 and 3 second mark right now as you watch the Thor battle box. show you some of the riders in that bubble battle for the playoffs. Harry Koulas, Grant Harlan.
Yeah, these guys
park back there too.
Everybody has their own little battles and trying to seedings, points, get in this playoff, but people watch out. Got a feeling that the number 3 is starting to wake up back there.
Oh, really?
I just got that feeling. I see the head
they cheered for Plessinger.
Yeah.
Imagine if Tomac gets on the podium. Crowd's going to be going crazy.
Yeah, and Eli was the fastest ride on the racetrack. Last lap at 2:14. Really close.
Oh.
Chase was second. Hunter was, or actually Aaron was third.
Also shout out Marshall Welton is in that battle. Welton, see, look at that bubble right there. So Welton is a 19th place spot, guaranteed into the motos if he can bring the 75 home. Kyle Chisholm has the last spot guaranteed into the playoff motos. Dean Wilson showed up today, but he's just gotten into the top 20 now. Wilson is 20th, and Chisholm is in 17th. Wilson needs to make up a bunch of ground on Chisholm today, and Wilson saying this will be his last pro motocross race. Although then he joked, I said that 2 years ago. And here I am racing them to try to make the playoffs.
Yeah, we can't leave it. We love it too much. It's too much fun out here.
Well, this is fun, a battle, at least to watch. I'm not sure about being in it. Hunter Lawrence will not let Aaron Plessinger go.
And they're closing back in on Chase, so I don't know if Chase got caught up, but he didn't pull away from those guys in this section like he did before.
Top 4 within about 4 seconds.
Yeah, that seems like Eli's really quick on this side of the racetrack, so it'll be interesting to see if he could able to close in and possibly get around the 96. These guys are playing this tug of war, cat and mouse game, and I can tell you one thing, if that number 3 gets around the 96, he's going to try to go to the front for sure.
JT.
Well, we have not seen Eli Tomac ride like this in pro motocross since 2022. Yes, he came back last week. We all knew he was just trying to get his feet wet back into this series, and we haven't seen beast mode from Eli Tomac, not since the St. Louis round of Monster Energy Supercross. So if he is ready to uncork one here and really show us what it's all about, Weege, I am here for it.
Everybody is. Go ahead, Katie.
Yeah, JT, the pit board for Eli Tomac right now has been quickest on track, followed up by quick moves, and Josh Ellington, his mechanic, is throwing that thing around, letting him know that it's go time for Eli Tomac.
It's toe smacking time. It's Eli Tomac. Well, JT mentioned if he was getting his feet wet last weekend, well, they might be soaked at the end of this moto. He is ready to go.
Oh, he's diving in this week. And the good news for Tomac fans, what'd you see there?
Oh, that was close. I don't know if he hit some braking bumps, but he almost fell off the back of the motorcycle right there. Looked like he hit the bumps and got the little whiskey throttle.
Oh, that was a rough ride through those woods as well. I was going to say the good news, if Tomac puts in a charge, it's 2 riders he can challenge because Hunter Lawrence still right there. Then the time gained and lost in any given section of this track, you really can't tell what's going to happen next.
Yeah, and it seems like it's in that new section these guys are trying to figure out. So I wonder, is it part of it, the shadows and stuff? Because a lot of, even on the racetrack, on the other parts, it seems like these guys lose the time is where they get in the shadows and stuff. So if they'll probably go between motors and realize if I don't lose so much time in this one section, I might actually be able to win one of these things because they're all riding pretty good.
Jason Anderson has moved to 5th ahead of Justin Cooper. Malcolm Stewart 7th, Nicoletti 8th, Noren and Craig top 10. Back to Katie.
Hunter Lawrence earlier today was not super comfortable on the bike. They've been making adjustments after each practice, and of course I'm sure we'll make one after this moto as well. But you imagine he's trying to be catching up with AP and making some moves, knowing that Tomac is behind him as well on a bike that's not entirely all that comfortable for him right now. We know that 2025 has been good to him over the course of this little part of the season, but he's not yet there in the comfort today.
But still could be in contention for the podium, and they're all building toward this, the SMX playoffs. And don't forget FanFest, which is 2 days at the SMX playoff races, Friday and also racing on Saturday. You can watch practice, a live press conference in the morning, and our podcast mashup. James Stewart, Bubba's World. We'll have Ricky Carmichael, Title 24. Jason Gypsy Tales, myself and Jason Thomas. I'm not sure if they're going to have anybody else. I might be leaving out a name. Steve Mathis of PulpMX. We'll all be there on stage hanging with the fans Friday nights at the playoff races. So get your 2-day ticket. And, you know, this goes back to, was it at Unadilla you said? No, maybe Washougal. Around that time of year, I remember you. Remember you and RC saying you don't often see this type of action late in the year.
No, I was just thinking that in my head, listening to you, that you got the top 4. Everybody's got their own agenda out here, but they're all trying to win. You know, Chase Sexton, easiest way to wrap this championship up and is to go out here and win. I think that's the only way he knows how to race, and that's what he's been doing. Then you got Aaron Plesson trying to get his first ever moto win. Hunter Lawrence trying to get another overall, his first one, and to stop Chase Sexton from winning his title. And then you got the 4-time champion Eli Tomac just trying to get his feet wet, and they're looking pretty wet to me. So everybody's out here racing, and that's all because there's still more to look for. There's still reasons to go out here and compete, and that's what you're witnessing.
Yeah, the final round of Pro Motocross, depending on how the points go, you have had some years where 1 or 2 riders just wallop the field. You don't often get a 4-pack this close.
That's because we're tired. We're tired.
Well, they've had a little wind in the sails with the playoffs coming up. Man, Hunter made a mistake. Eli got close. Now Eli's almost 2 seconds behind Hunter, and that all happened in about a quarter of a lap.
Yeah, the scary part for these guys is that, look at that lead. It's almost 4 seconds now. As these guys made a mistake, Chase Sexton's pulling out, so they're in the danger zone if he keeps going.
And there's Plessinger in second, familiar ground for him. Like I said, he has a background in the type of woods racing that was where Ironman first made its name as a race facility. Here's Aaron on that.
It's just changed so much, and to see it come this far and have this place be, you know, the last round of the Pro Motocross Series is really, really awesome. And I actually got to race this track when it was first being built, and I think it was 2014, and we did a Loretta Lynn's regional here. And then my first ever pro race here is the first overall I got in 2015 as my rookie year. And I've done really, really well here, and I think it's just a good place.
Well, certainly is right now for him, because he's a little bit further ahead, finally putting some distance between himself and Hunter Lawrence. But nope, as quickly as I say that, Hunter closes back in.
Yeah, they all have their sections on there, but everybody's you know, putting in some fast laps. I mean, Chase Sexton ran a 2:13, and then Plessinger ran a 2:14 the last lap. JT?
Yeah, and you start to see these guys spreading out a little bit. Tomac's falling off the back just a touch. It is so much more humid than you would think. Now, the temperature's not going to jump off the screen at you, but these guys are certainly feeling it late. And I think that's kind of why the battles slowed up a bit, is these guys are just feeling the heat and humidity late in this moment. This moto.
That's because Chase Sexton's got a hot pace out front, making everything hot. So, but Aaron's still doing a good job, because normally in this time of motos, when Chase is rolling like this, he's gone, and they don't look like they're, you know, laboring a little bit at all to me. Aaron still looks like he's aggressive like he was the first lap. Same thing with Hunter. Just unfortunately they're losing times somewhere, which is a lot happening. Katie.
Yeah, I can agree with JT. It is humid for people like Aaron Plessinger who have long hair, and myself. We're feeling it out here. But one thing to keep in mind here is there's also a championship podium hunt for Aaron Plessinger. Remember, he and Justin Cooper had been battling for that third-place podium spot in the championship. A very important thing for someone like an Aaron Plessinger to make sure he finishes and finishes strong and way above Justin Cooper, who is actually dealing with a bit of a shoulder injury after last weekend. Knows that he is battling what's at stake, and I think, you know, Stu, that's something that you could really respond to a little bit, is what is at stake for these guys for that second, third, fourth place in the championship?
Yeah, as I mentioned, you know, all these guys, and especially with Aaron, I mean, he's trying to get his first ever win, and his teammates out here, you know, winning this championship and possibly going to wrap this championship up. So the bike is good. Aaron's been riding great all year long. So not only he wants to get that 3rd place, but he also wants to solidify that spot on Team USA as well. So there's a lot to fight for. Aaron's doing a great job. All these guys are too, because they still look racy to me, and I like to see that. Even the number 3 does too.
Yeah, that's critical as the AMA tries to make the decision on who will represent the United States at Motocross of Nations. There's Hunter Lawrence going by. I think he's a shoe-in for Team Australia, by the way. No problems there. Give you the Monster Energy running order. Tomac 4th. Anderson is 5th. He's gotten around Cooper, as Katie mentioned, banged up a little bit from last week's crash off the start of Moto 1. And then Ferrandis is out with that brutal crash in turn 1. So Tomac certainly under consideration for Team USA as well. I believe they have to announce or at least submit the entries for the team by September 3rd. So this is really going to be the last chance for them to see what these riders have. We asked Eli, would he be willing to ride for Team USA if he is asked?
Yes, and that's if I earn the position. You know, in my mind, I believe it's Plessinger in that position for points right now. So he has every right to go. The only way I would want to take that position is if I made a way stronger showing, and then obviously the team does pick me. But I would be willing to go.
Tough call there between the potential of Tomac, the history of Tomac, and how well Plessinger's riding right now. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Eli. I mean, he's obviously, if Aaron wasn't riding as good as he is, then absolutely, then Eli would fill those positions. Not only that, you got Justin Cooper as well as another good one, but at this moment, that's why and doesn't mean Eli doesn't, but Aaron's been here all week, all year, and I think Eli would agree with him. Until he goes out there and beats him, you got to go with the number 7 right now, Captain America.
Yeah, the sliding scale is that the race is October 6th, so it's like a guessing game of, all right, Tomac's just coming back. That's a month and a half from now. How much better can he get? I'll tell you what, the fans would love it either way, because they're 2 of the most popular, maybe the 2 most popular riders out here.
Yeah, and I do think Eli, this is important. One of the reasons he's coming back, one, for the playoffs, but also this might be his last chance to race the Motocross of Nations. You know, you got to think next year everybody will continue getting better. I mean, he will, so it's only going to get tougher for him. If he has an opportunity to go, he definitely would this year. Seems like if Eli would just come and jump out over this roller on the inside. I noticed that Chase was doing that earlier. Seems like they didn't, as we mentioned earlier, this whole show, that it's just that back and forth, these guys just lose so much time, and it definitely seems like he gets in these tighter parts of the racetrack. Some of these corners with these hooks on the end, they make a mistake, they lose a lot of time.
Oh, this is going to be a battle for the podium with 2 to go.
This could be a possible Motocross of Nations battle here in a couple of months if Eli's on the team, or even with Aaron in front of him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Australian team expect to get Jet Lawrence back. They're going to be tough as well. And by the way, at halftime after this moto, we did talk to Jet Lawrence this morning about his prospects and returning for the playoffs in SMX. So stick around with us in between the motos. Halftime, we'll have that Jet Lawrence interview. Spoiler alert, he was in really good spirits.
Yeah, and he sure is, brother. Brothers running second in the championship, riding good in rookie year. Unfortunately for him, Eli Tomac, he smells Vegemite. He want to take a bite out of that sandwich right now.
Oh, it's a good sign for Tomac, who's also building, it's not just playoffs or Motocross of Nations or today. He did announce he's back all season long next year. And he admitted yesterday in the press conference he probably wasn't as ready as he would have liked to have been for the 2024 season.
All right, you see that right there? You see how much time that Hunter was able to pull away? And what I was mentioning a lap before, just jumping out a little bit over that single allows him to carry his momentum. And you can see what Eli didn't do that and all that time he lost. But as quickly as that, Eli's quick, obviously pretty fast somewhere else, and he's able to close back in. But I wonder if Eli started that, how much time would he be able to get around Hunter, or how much time would he be able to gain on Hunter?
So is that something he could see and adjust?
Yeah, I mean, he would probably do it in between races. I'm sure they'll probably tell him, and especially since Hunter just did it in front of him, they'll go back and watch it. Or maybe Eli would do it because he just saw it happen right in front of him. Losing a lot of time right there, and it seems like it's a lot more energy that he's wasting by having to fight.
Yeah, that's what I was alluding to before, by the way. For Eli, every one of these laps, every gate drop between now and next year is just building blocks. He only got on a bike 2 months before the Anaheim opener of Supercross this year, and maybe he wasn't quite the Eli Tomac of old. But he wants to rectify that.
Yeah, and same thing that's happening with my brother and any of these guys is riding outdoors. Racing outdoors is going to help Eli for Supercross next year. So
last lap.
Whether the results say he's getting better, a lot better out here racing, and will be better in 25 because he's coming out here and finishing these 4 motos out and then into the playoffs.
Well, here it is, James, last lap. Chase Sexton in control of the moto and in control of the title, and what a journey it has been. And it will conclude, it appears, at Ironman Raceway. And last year, the disappointment gave it everything he had, but Jet Lawrence completed the perfect season right here at this track. So for Ironman, I quote some lyrics from that famous Black Sabbath song. While Jet was celebrating, I heard that Chase Sexton just went back to the Honda truck. It's like the lyrics from the song. He just stares at the world, planning his vengeance that he will unfurl. It didn't look good when he first got on this KTM in Monster Energy Supercross. But here we are, a year after that bitter defeat, and he is looking at the Pro Motocross Championship.
I almost don't want to say anything after that beautiful. That was
somebody
beautiful,
tipped me
Jay.
off.
That was nice on there. But yeah, we were here calling the race, and I actually mentioned to you, I'm like, man, he actually seemed mad after that race. So, yeah, that was a great discussion and great point right there. The vengeance.
Yeah, shout out to Ozzy Osbourne for the lyrics.
Nah, shout out to you for bringing it up. Yeah.
So Ironman Raceway is, if he holds on, going to be where he is crowned. But again, go back to what we heard in the offseason when he first got on this bike. Even Chase himself wasn't being... You know, a lot of times riders are way unrealistically positive when they first get on a new motorcycle. I'm going to say he was being real.
Yeah. Chase is way better. I mean, as he's starting to celebrate right now, but he can't help but to win. Once I said he starts going fast, he's going to be able to do it, and now that's what you're seeing.
And what we're seeing is this, another big step for the career of Chase Sexton. Already a 450 champion in Supercross. And now, the 450 Pro Motocross champion, Chase Sexton.